as a medical specialist, I was obviously very aware of the importance of exercise and fitness in general health, stability, mobility, longevity. And like most very busy people, I didn't think I had the time in my life to devote any time to looking after myself. And by the time I was retiring, physically I was pretty spent. I was getting a lot of cramps in my legs and in my upper body. I went home from work feeling extremely physically drained after each day. I found things like picking things up off the floor becoming increasingly difficult. I was getting stiffer, weaker, and I realised that I needed to do something to improve my health and maintain my level of mobility so I could enjoy my retirement.
Yeah. I think you just decided that you needed to make a change.
Well, I needed to make a change, and coming to this particular institute was purely circumstance. It opened about the same time as I retired. And I was walking down this street, I saw a sign for coffee, came in to have a coffee, was introduced to one of the principals of the practice here. He showed me around. He said, come in and we'll do an assessment, and if you'd like it, you can start doing an exercise program here. I was a little reticent at the beginning because I do have some medical conditions, specifically with my spine. I have a condition called DISH, which is diffuse idiopathic skeletal hyperostosis, where all the ligaments in my spine have become ossified, turned to bone. So I have a very rigid spine, and on top of that I've had both neck and lower back surgery over the years. So basically I have a rigid spine that's fixed in a position that doesn't move. And as a result of some of these spinal issues, I've had quite severe sciatica in the past, which required surgery, with very tight hamstrings and limited mobility. So I thought this would limit my ability to do any exercise program to any degree. But I came here, I had an accurate, very extensive assessment done by the physiotherapists here, and then a individual program was designed for me, which I've undertaken and have gradually built on in the last 2 years.
How did you feel the first time we started our sessions together?
I felt very inadequate, but also once you make that decision to want to do something, I wanted to go at it full bore. And I must admit that at the beginning I thought it was too light. You guys were going too easy on me. But I realise now that learning technique and learning how to do the exercises correctly is far more important than numbers or weights or things like that. And that's something I needed to learn because I had no knowledge and had no experience with an exercise program. So initially, certain things I went home feeling quite sore and stiff. Some other times I thought, this is too light, I need to push ahead.
Yeah.
But within a very short period of time I realised that it was all a matter of balance, learning technique and gradually building up.
Was there any time at the beginning that you felt like, as an orthopaedic surgeon, what was your idea about all these exercises and things like that, and how you feel like the programs that we did together, did it change your perspective along any of these?
To a degree. As an orthopaedic surgeon, ex-orthopaedic surgeon, out there in the community there are many different groups of people,
thousands,
who propose various exercise programs. Some scientifically based, many not. Some I considered to be verging on dangerous. The old saying, no pain, no gain, is absolutely wrong. And one of the things I always said to my patients, if it hurts, you stop.
Yeah.
So I had a certain reticence, and I also had a certain distrust of the exercise industry as a whole when it came to these things. But coming to this, and it's not just a plug for this place, but this coming here where everyone is a professional of various forms, physiotherapists, chiropractors, podiatrists, psychologists, etc. With a much more professional, patient-oriented approach.
And what made you feel that it's not it's not safe or it's a little dangerous.
My experience, talking to many patients who came back from experiences with various groups, physiotherapists, gyms, etc., and what they'd been told to do, which was totally, in my opinion, totally contradictory to the way they should be managed.
And you could see the results were poor. Okay, so you found them poor.
Yeah, if not damaging.
If not damaging. Okay. And how did you how did you feel about it yourself? Like if you go
what
back,
I did myself, what I basically did myself is that I devised my own, as I was only a specific shoulder surgeon for the last 20 years, I was in a fortunate position where I could design my own rehab program.
Yeah.
Which is not really an exercise program, but it's a rehab program that patients could do with simple equipment at home within their own capacity and with their own pain. Now I understand for a lot of those patients they probably would have benefited having someone teach them how to do it properly, but I wasn't aware, I wasn't convinced or confident that out there in the community there were enough people who knew how to teach this properly.
Something that I really would like to know is that throughout this journey that you had here for yourself, when was a time where you felt like you're enjoying this?
Matt, you and I have already had this discussion about language. Now, I know English is not your first language and your use of words sometimes leaves something to be desired. The word enjoy, I am not a masochist.
Yeah.
I do not enjoy pain. So when you say, when did I first realise I was enjoying it? Never.
Never.
But I'm committed to it.
That's it.
Committed to it.
Such a beautiful thing.
But enjoy? No.
You never enjoyed it?
No.
You just felt like this is something I got to do?
No, but it's a commitment, and I've made it a commitment, and I've made it a part of my everyday life, and I have a structured lifestyle, always have had, and this just fits into that, and I miss it if I don't do it. But I wouldn't say I come here because I enjoy it. Yeah, it's a means to an end.
What would be the message you would send out based on your experience?
Well, based on my experience, you need to, first of all, come to a place where there are professionals who are well trained, who do an assessment specific to you for what your needs are and whatever your medical condition may be. Start a program, start off light and build it up. Keep it reviewing it on a weekly basis, adding stuff, detracting stuff, obviously giving confidence and promoting it and sticking at it.
Do you find it necessary for every single person in the world to have, up to some extent, more or less, of something like this for themselves?
Every person in the world. Every person in the world needs to try and be as fit and active as they possibly can. Now, whether they do that in their everyday life is fine. But as you get to my age, when you get 65 plus, sometimes you need some assistance. And especially like myself, who had never done it before. I'd never set foot in the gym in my life before coming here.
Never?
Never.
And did you find it to be beneficial only for the sake of your physical fitness, or how did you find the impact the other aspects of your life?
There is a certain emotional, psychological advantage to exercise as well. A feeling of well-being, an overall sense of well-being, especially as you notice that you are improving physically and you can do things that you couldn't do before. It gives you more confidence, and that gives you just an overall sense of well-being, and it certainly improves
the other aspects.
Yeah, or that psychological aspect.
There's something very, I feel like I really would like to ask this, because since the first day you walked in here, you were coming here with your wife, right? Mm-hmm. And throughout the journey, you guys were doing the exercise and practices together, and I understand sometimes how we would plan your exercises were different. Mm-hmm. Yes, totally. Yeah. But do you reckon that company
for both
was important?
For both of us, it's important because we encourage each other. to come to these sessions. Now, she does a completely different program to myself in a different way, but we do it here at the same time. So it's something we do most things in our lives together, and this is one of the things we do together. And we encourage each other to come. Some days you don't feel quite up to it, or one or the other doesn't, but the other one says, "Come on, let's go and do it." So you just keep each other ticking along.
When you were having some sort of challenges or something, either with your training or with different aspects in your life, when things weren't going right in any matter, did you find it beneficial to continue, or was there something else that would hold you back from this?
Nothing's held me back at any stage. I've kept at the program and I've enjoyed, I've committed to it, and there's been nothing that stopped me from doing it.
So the commitment and the urgency was something else that you feel like was getting you back over here for
you make a commitment.
Your exercises.
Yeah. Make a commitment that if you're going to do it, you're going to do it.
Beautiful. You mentioned something about that, you've never been to the gym.
Correct.
I would like to know more about it. Like, what was the thing was there something else holding you back?
Yeah, well, I had a perception, as I think a lot of people in my age group specifically had, that when you mention the word gym, you picture these 24/7 gyms that are all over town, full of predominantly young people in lycra, doing lots of exercises, looking at yourself in the mirror, very competitive. And I think for people like myself, that's off-putting. It's not a place or an environment that you would feel safe or comfortable in. I think the difference here is that it's a much smaller facility, but the exercise programs here are much more individualized to the individual, and people can take it at their own pace. It's not crowded. It's not a competition. It's something you can do for yourself, for your own benefit.
So if you didn't have access to such facility, let's say if there is someone else out there listening to this, and they might not have access to such facility, or for any reason, they only have access to some other sort of facilities, what you reckon they should be doing?
Well, it's everyone's own choice of what sort of facility they attend, but if they can't get the personalised thing, they should find, most people go online now to look at programs, and if they could find one that they're comfortable with and they think that it's scientifically based and has been put together for the correct reasons, and learn the basics by watching the presentations, then they can basically do that in any facility, even at home, with some basic equipment.
So what you reckon they should be thinking about to fix or change this mentality behind this? Do you reckon there is a mentality or something behind this that is holding them back?
Well, no, I think the mentality is purely just being adverse to going to the large, crowded gyms.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think there's a mentality of holding people back exercise per se. It's finding the right way and the right place to exercise.
Okay. What about the reason of doing this?
Well, the reason is basically you want to be as fit and as well as you possibly can. And we all know that being fit and strong for your own daily activities is going to improve your daily activities, you improve your daily life. As I said right at the very beginning, both with mobility, stability, falls and stumbles and things at home and on the streets is a very common phenomenon as you get older. Longevity. Studies clearly show that if you're well and if you're physically fit, you're going to prolong your life. Yeah. And you're going to reduce your own burden of chronic medical conditions.
Do you reckon if you were starting such programs earlier for yourself, there was going to be sort of something else that would benefit you more?
Oh yeah, if I had have started this 10 years ago, I would have had 10 years more benefit of it. But as I said, lifestyle issues come into it, and back then, even 10 years ago, even with the full knowledge that I should be doing something like this, I really didn't convince myself that I had the time to do it.
But regards to the matter that you mentioned, that even younger generation, they think about the big gyms, going there and trying to just do some workouts. something that I really would like to add myself is that even myself, if I try to go to a new gym, just a different facility, even if the equipments are the same, I always find it a little bit different. So it would take some time for me to, just settle and get used to that facility to really perform better.
Yeah.
I think this is the most important thing, that we just have to start something else, feel committed to it.
Yeah, but there's also basic
let's
principles. You have taught my wife and I the basic principles of how to exercise correctly. We travel a lot, and one of the things we do now, which we never used to do, is that when we're booking a hotel anywhere in the world, we look at the gym facilities, the health facilities in that hotel, and we will book preferentially a hotel that does have a well-equipped gym. Now, we go to those gyms, and even though it may not have the same equipment that we're used to, the principles remain, and we can use those gyms to maintain an exercise program while we're away.
I can remember the first time you mentioned this to me when you were going on a holiday, and you told me, oh Matt, the other times we were trying to go to a hotel, we would just check some other facilities or look for something different. And now for the first time we're looking at what's the gym like, if it has a proper gym or not. And I can remember that day, it was, I was thinking about it. It made me thinking about it, and I was feeling really, there was something really nice about it for me, that it has changed the lifestyle. Because
absolutely.
A lot of time people think just going to the gym is about just that 1 hour or 2 hours or 30 minutes. You go to the gym, you do something else, and after that you go out. But the message behind what you told me with your wife was that this is not about just that 30-40 minutes that we do such thing here. It's about that lifestyle that we have with ourselves, and we carry that with ourselves 24/7 from now on. And along the way you were saying that, because of this exercise, after a while you were talking about that, now we're focusing more on the diet, or we changed a few things about it.
That was another, that's another important feature. After you've been exercising for a period of time, you realise that you need to have correct nutrition to enable you to exercise, otherwise you fatigue and you get sore and weak. Now, when I was practicing, because of time constraints over many, many years, I never had breakfast, I never had lunch, ever. I used to have a meal at night time, sometimes quite late because that's the time I came home from work, and I just got used to that and live on coffee all through the day. And even when I first started exercising, I was having the same thing. I wasn't having breakfast, I wasn't having lunch. And you convinced me that it was important to have the proper nutrition to enable you to exercise, to gain the benefits from it. And after a period of time I realised it, and we've changed our diet accordingly.
Did you feel the difference?
I do feel a difference. I get less fatigued.
With the proper nutrition.
With the proper nutrition, And it's also important that everyone realises that you lose a significant amount of muscle mass per decade, every decade you get older. And it doesn't come back. And in someone in my age group, you do need high protein, but also the correct amount of calories, but also protein supplements to maintain muscle mass or muscle strength.
If it's needed, yes.
And just to stave off the natural decay. These things are just as important to learn as the exercise program itself.
And there were other times that something that I can clearly remember, there was a few occasions you were telling me that, we've seen our friends or family members or something else after a while, after 6 months, 1 year or something, and they've noticed, like they were telling your wife, Peter has changed, or you've changed, or how did you feel about that?
Well, I'm not doing it for any other reason apart what I've stated, for my own personal health and longevity. But when people do comment about it, it makes you realise that there are changes in your body shape and changes in the way you walk and the way you do things that other people notice, and you realise, because from day to day to day you don't notice a lot yourself, but when other people notice it, it just sort of is once again just shows that you're heading in the right direction.
We just tap on your back saying,
No. It's not that.
You
I'll
do it.
do it anyway.
Yeah, it just gives you the feeling that I'm committed to something and I'm getting a lot of benefit on it.
There is benefit coming from it.
Yeah, that's it. Just for
but-
yourself. You're just tapping on your
but
shoulder.
I can feel
Well
that
done.
benefit myself,
Yeah.
so I don't really need affirmation from other people.
No, not for the others, but for yourself. You feel like I've developed something for myself. I'm getting the benefits
to the
for
point
myself.
where it has brought thoughts into the minds of our friends that maybe they should be doing something the same, because they can actually see the obvious benefits of it.
That was the thing I was trying to get into, because I can remember there were occasions that some families or friends and some different people, you were saying that now they're thinking about that they should do something about
absolutely.
themselves, and I feel like that positive effect just getting spread out, that should have a very great feeling. Beautiful.
You're welcome.
It was really a nice, perfect conversation to have together. I really appreciate you coming here today.
Not a
Thanks for your
problem.
time. Great.